What's up, guys? Coming at you today with a video about shoulder impingement. Now, quick disclaimer, I'm not a physical therapist, I'm not a physician, I'm not an athletic trainer. I'm just an avid weightlifter. It's been a huge part of my life for a long time, so fortunately I haven't dealt with too many problems, but the shoulder impingement really knocked me down for several months. Didn't completely take me out of commission, but it was very aggravating and definitely took some time to heal and took a commitment to regular protocol several days a week to actually get beyond it and get back to doing normal shoulder presses and bench presses with the weight that I'm accustomed to. So I wanted to outline the program that I used. Hopefully it helps some of you because I found a lot of information out there about different exercises and different routines to do, but nothing was really complete. So I kind of pieced this together with the help of some physical therapists at Tampa General Hospital's Outpatient Physical Therapy, Courtney and Madison. Thanks for your help. So I hope you'll keep watching and see what I did, and maybe it'll help you. So let's get this started.
Okay.
All right, so most of you guys watching this video probably work out. So you're probably wondering what sort of exercises, be it corrective or warm-up exercises, you can do before your workout to help warm the shoulder up and even help with some of the rehab. So I just did a back workout today, so I'm gonna take you through the 3 exercises I do right before I do my back workout to try to help prep not only the area for the workout, but also as rehab for the shoulder. So the first one is an external rotation with a resistance band. Now, I primarily focus on external to help work the rotator cuff and external fascia as opposed to internal rotation. It's kind of all about the shoulders. I have a theory about why the impingement occurred on me. Mainly, I think it's because I had rounded shoulders, I work at a desk, so some of these exercises work to correct posture as well. More on that later in the video. But here's how we do this exercise. So you want to position the band right about hip high, step out just enough and keep your elbow nice and tight, and you're just rotating externally. Okay, most of you probably know this exercise. So I do 2 sets of 15 of the external rotation. Nice and controlled, keep your elbow in tight to the body. 15 reps of external rotation. Second exercise, like to use a band. You could use a cable pull down if you're at the gym, but this band here works nicely. Get about just outside shoulder width. This is a straight arm push down. So I'm gonna step back a little bit, keep my chest out, and just do a straight arm push down. This way, keeping my arms straight, working the muscles of the back, flexing the scapula. This is a great warm-up exercise. Now you might feel a little bit of the pain up here at the top of the movement if you have the impingement, but don't quite go as far up if you want to avoid that pain. All right, do 15 reps there. And then finally, the last warm-up / corrective exercise I do is a scapula pull. So I'm gonna step in here, get a nice wide grip as if I'm doing a pull-up. Come on this way a little bit so you can see it more to the back. And I'm gonna hang as if I'm doing a pull-up, and all I'm gonna do is contract my scapula, okay? Contracting the scapula there, almost as if I'm starting a pull-up, okay? And I do 15 reps here, just to start building some strength in the scapula in the back. All right, 2 sets of 15 there. So I do these 3 exercises, 2 rounds, usually 15 reps each set. Let's move on to the chest, to what we do before the chest movements. Okay, so we covered the exercises that I do before a back day or before a pull day. Now let's talk about the just 2 exercises I do before I do a push day. So when I'm doing chest, when I'm doing shoulders, when I'm doing tris. So I start with also an external rotation, but I like to do this one lying with a weight. Now I've got about 7.5 pounds here. When I started doing this, when I was in a lot of pain, it was basically 5 pounds, and I was doing about 10 or 12 reps, and I would do 2 sets on each arm. And obviously both sides, I only had the impingement on one. So you're gonna lie down here on the bench. Pretty straightforward movement here. Keeping the elbow nice and tight to the side. You're just gonna rotate up. Really focus on getting that external rotation. This is gonna help your rotator cuff as well. But this was a great exercise, and this is something that I definitely felt quite a bit. And even though the impingement's gone, I still do this exercise before all of my push days. So I found it to be very helpful. Okay, so that's the first one. Second one is a eccentric lateral movement. So again, I've got 7.5 pounds here. You might need to start with about 5, depending on how bad the impingement is. But I would assist myself with the opposite hand up and just resist all the way down. A nice slow resistance on the way down. This exercise probably gave me the most pain of any of these corrective exercises when I started doing it right in the middle of the impingement. but I think I started using a 5-pound weight and I could barely get to 10 reps. And now it's fine. I'm using about 7.5 pounds and I'm doing sets of 15 before my workout. So it's just assisting yourself on the way up, really focusing on the eccentric portion of this lateral. And if you've got a bad shoulder impingement, you will definitely feel this one. So you may need to tone the weight down a little bit. But those are the 2 exercises I do before push days. Okay, so as I mentioned a few minutes ago, I theorized that part of my problem, and maybe one of the reasons that I got the impingement in the first place, was due to poor posture, rounded shoulders. Again, I mentioned that I worked at a desk, so I thought that might be the problem, right? The shoulder certainly can't go through its full range of motion with your shoulders being rounded, so I thought I needed to correct my posture and address thoracic mobility. So I started this routine. I would do this a few times a night, or at night a couple times a week. I would start with the peanut, okay? And you just simply put it down here, and you wanna lay this right between your shoulder blades, okay? So I would start here, start with it a little low, and then from here I would just lean my shoulders back into it, right? Starting to create some thoracic mobility. I would do this 5 or 6 times, okay? Then I would shift forward a little bit, get it to the upper portion of my back, same thing. You wanna try to keep your low back flat, just starting to work in on those muscles a little bit, those mid traps. Okay, I would do a few reps of this. Okay, so that was the first part of the routine. Get the peanut out of the way. And I would bring the foam roller in. And I would get down on my knees, put both arms up on the foam roller, touch my forehead to the ground, and just let my chest drop as far down as I could, trying to really pull those shoulder blades together. I would come out of it, back in. Thumbs pointed up, out, and back in. I would stay in that position, take 4 or 5 deep breaths, and then I would move on to my next one, which was lying on your side here, okay? Prop one knee up, okay? One knee's gonna be here. This is gonna set your hips. Start with my palms together, and I'm just gonna rotate all the way back. Trying to drop the back of that hand down to the ground. Don't let yourself turn over. You've got to keep this knee right against this foam roller. And I would do about 8 or 10 reps here, and then I would flip over to the other side. Right, so get your 8 or 10 reps there, and then you would flip that over. And then the final piece I would do here is I would get down on all fours, okay, drop the elbows down, take one hand, put it up by your head here, and then you're just gonna rotate back. Try to point that elbow up to the sky. Again, this sets your hips so your hips can't rotate. This is all thoracic mobility. Point the elbow up, back down. We'll do about 5 or 6 reps of those, and then that would pretty much conclude my thoracic mobility routine each evening. And I found that this really helped me keep my chest out, pull my shoulders back a little bit without having to consciously think, pull my shoulders back. This started to really help my thoracic mobility, which I think improved the impingement. Okay, so one of the things I struggled with most in dealing with the impingement was doing my chest exercises. Everything seemed to hurt. Like I mentioned earlier, I couldn't even bench press 100 pounds without having tremendous pain in the shoulder. And for somebody who doesn't even miss a week of working out, it was really frustrating to not be able to do my chest work. So I kept researching and came across a lot of people who suggested doing floor presses or rack presses. Now, with something like this, you could definitely lie flat and do a rack press with the barbell, or you could even lie on a bench and do a rack press, depending on how high you set the bars. But what I found most helpful was doing a floor dumbbell press, because this limits your range of motion to about 90 degrees, so you're just gonna go down to touch the elbows on the floor and then back up. So let me get in the position here and I'll show you exactly how I do this. And starting out, when I was having a lot of pain, I was only doing probably 2 sets of 10 to 15 reps here. And as I started to get 15 to 20 reps easily with a certain weight, I would increase the weight, and I would drop the weight back down to, or I would drop the reps back down to 10 or 12 reps. And once I could get 15 to 20 comfortably, I would move the weight up. So eventually, I got to where I was able to do quite a bit of weight, and then eventually shifted back into normal dumbbell presses. So lying on the floor here, you're just gonna start here, okay? You wanna make sure you've dropped your shoulders down, that you're not squeezing up here by your neck, okay? And then you're just bench pressing here, right? And you're able to really focus on the chest and having the support of the floor, not having to use a lot of the front deltoid when you're actually doing this movement. So you're really able to focus on the chest and get that chest work in. Sometimes you have to lighten the weight up and really just focus on your form to make sure you're getting the activation in the pecs that you want without endangering the shoulder. So that was probably the most critical change that I had to make in my chest training, is start doing modifications just like this. Floor presses, using partial presses with resistance bands until I could get the shoulder back 100% again, so I could get back in to regular barbell presses and dumbbell presses. So I hope this video was helpful. If you liked it, please leave a comment down below. Let me know some of the things that you're working on, and maybe it'll help some of the viewers as well. Take care.